Bank.
Welcome back. You're watching Overdrive. Audi has decided to bring back the Q3 in India after a 2-year hiatus, and it is now based on the MQB A2 architecture. Let's see what that means in terms of space and also how the SUV feels like to drive.
Now the Audi Q3 has been right at the core of Audi India's SUV lineup in terms of its popularity. And this one, the second generation Q3, has been on sale globally for about 4 years now. Anyway, the second generation Q3 is finally here in India now. So today we're going to tell you how it's improved over the last version. Now the easiest way to recognize the second generation Q3 is from the way it looks from the front. So it's much more of an SUV kind of look now. That crossover shape from earlier is no longer there. And you notice this with the kinked shape of the headlamp and the segmented LED DRLs. And then when you come to the middle, you notice that really large, big Audi grille. It's the new look, so to speak, with these slats and these chrome vertical sort of adornments. And that sense carries on with these sort of brushed aluminium finishes. They sort of brighten up the face, as you can see over here, and also the bumper, which really help to bring that SUV quotient up. The Audi Q3 in this guise is 96 mm longer, 18 mm wider and 5 mm shorter than before. From the side, the glasshouse is simple but functional, and that SUV character is further defined by the more prominent creases on the fenders and rear haunches. At the rear, the two-part LED tail lamps are quite attractive with their intricate detailing. Now the added length of the new Q3 has added a significant 70 litres to the boot space. It's now 530 litres, and this top technology variant you get this convenient power function. And the boot itself, it's a large square space, quite useful. The sill is quite low, so you can easily lift up a suitcase. Now you notice this shift to this more modular MQB architecture the minute you step inside the new Q3. It's a far more airier, more spacious place to spend time in, and that's helped by the general layout and design. Now here's something that we really like about the way Audi has designed the center stack of the Q3. Now you know that dual screen layout that you find in larger Audis like the Q7, which we don't really like because it puts these climate controls on another screen. Thankfully here you have these, again, very crisp, very tactile, these damped AC buttons, which are very satisfying, very tactile to use. You have hard redundancies for pretty much all the functions that you would need. And again, this 10.1-inch MMI screen, we've always liked it. We've liked how intuitive and clear the menus are. So that continues as it is. Now the new Q3 has a 77 mm longer wheelbase, and that has solved what was possibly the biggest flaw in the last car. So as you can see now, the interior, the back seat is much more usable, much more comfortable for at least 2 adults. And yes, while the entry, the ingress-egress isn't quite as good, the opening isn't too large, but once you're inside, the amount of knee, leg and of course headroom is great, much improved from earlier. But here's the kicker, here's what really takes it right to the top of its segment in terms of space here, the Q3. You get a massive 150 mm of travel for the rear seat, and you can also recline it to quite a comfortable angle. You get 6 airbags and the usual crop of passive safety features, but lesser Skoda VW offerings as well as rivals do better on this count. As with the entire Audi range in India, the new Q3 is now a petrol-only offering being powered by the 2-litre turbo petrol, as seen in the Q2 and other Skoda VW offerings, putting out 190 PS and 320 Nm, which pairs with a 7-speed DCT. A notable differentiator though is that the Q3 comes standard with quattro all-wheel drive, unlike many rivals. Now we've become quite familiar with this 2-litre motor, and it performs in much the same way in all the other applications that we've driven it in as it does here. Now this isn't the most refined of these type of engines, so yeah, in the city we wouldn't really recommend driving in the lowest efficiency mode. It just sort of dulls the whole experience down. The comfort mode is the one you should be in for the most amount of time. And yes, the DCT gearbox, again at lower speeds, there isn't any of that jerkiness or that hesitation that we've complained of in the past. All that has been dialed out. So none of that is there. Now in the city at lower speeds, we don't really like the way the Q3 handles low speed potholes and bumps. Even now at the steady pace, you do hear those thuds in the cabin. And on a rough stretch of road, that does get irritating after a point. But having said that, once you picked up speed, once you are on the move and up and going, the ride really settles down. There's a sense of poise, there's a sense of control that you find typically in Audis, and that's fully intact here too. Yes, the Q3 isn't the most engaging car to drive in this segment, but with the Quattro all-wheel drive system, you do get the sense of control, the sense of poise again, that is really quite nice, that's really quite reassuring. Prices for the new Audi Q3 start from Rs 44.89 lakh for the Premium Plus. But it's this technology trim that you really want, which happens to be at the higher reaches of the segment at over Rs 50 lakh. Yes, the Q3 could have been a couple of lakhs less expensive considering you miss out on a diesel engine and safety equipment, even though you do get that Quattro all-wheel drive system. In any case, the new Q3 is a significant improvement over the last generation, and it's an SUV that is spacious, well made, and one that feels like a luxury car should from behind the wheel.
Well, do you think the Q3 makes a strong case for itself in the entry-level premium SUV space? Let us know in the comment section on our YouTube channel. Before we wrap up today's show though, Team Overdrive would like to take a moment to convey our condolence to the Kirloskar family. Vikram Kirloskar, the Vice Chairman of Toyota Kirloskar Motor, passed away earlier this week at the age of 64. He was one of India's finest industrialists who paved the way for Toyota India. He was much loved in the auto fraternity, and our thoughts and prayers are with his family and the Toyota Kirloskar company. Well, we'll be back next week with the latest from the motoring world. Until next week then, drive and ride safe.